Have you ever wondered why some students seem to learn faster, stay motivated, and perform better, while others struggle despite putting in hours of effort? Today, we'll uncover the science of learning and explore how you can manage and care for yourself to become a better student, and ultimately, a better person. Managing and caring for the self. Learning to be a better student. In today's session, we're going to explore how learning shapes us, not only as students, but as people. Our discussion will connect four important topics. 1. How we can learn to be better students. 2. The changes that occur in our brain and behavior during learning. 3. The concept of neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to adapt. And finally, 4. The work of psychologist James O. Prochaska and his theory of behavior change. The slides of this lecture video are found in the description below. Learning is not just about memorizing facts. It's about changing your brain. Every time you learn something new, your brain literally grows new connections between neurons. This process is called neuroplasticity. Example: imagine you're learning how to play the guitar. The first few times, your fingers struggle to find the right strings. But as you keep practicing, your brain strengthens those neural connections, and soon, your fingers move naturally without much thought. Even sleep plays a big role. When you sleep after studying, your brain is wiring new paths, helping you retain information better. Learning to be a better person is a lifelong process. Many people assume that maturity automatically comes with age, but in reality, mental and emotional maturity has to be developed. To mature, we must learn to control our thoughts, manage our emotions, process information effectively, and motivate ourselves to continue learning. This is not just about school, it's about shaping the kind of individual you want to become. Emotional maturity and learning. Now, let's connect this to learning. Emotional maturity means having the ability to control one's emotions and behaviors. Why does this matter? Because learning itself is not just about absorbing information, it's also about managing frustration, staying motivated and persevering when things get difficult. So, what happens in the brain when we learn? Learning and the brain. Learning is not just a mental activity, it actually changes the physical structure of the brain. These changes happen mostly at the connections between neurons. New connections form, and existing ones are strengthened or reshaped. Scientists have discovered that the brain grows more when you learn something new, and less when you only practice what you already know. Think of it this way. When you challenge your brain, it builds new roads and bridges. When you repeat familiar tasks, you're simply driving on the same old roads. The role of the cerebrum. The cerebrum, the large outer part of the brain, plays a central role in this process. It controls reading, thinking, learning, speech, emotions, and even planned muscle movements like walking. Here's something fascinating. Brain cells actually change shape as we learn, and much of this rewiring happens while we sleep. Sleep isn't wasted time, it's when your brain organizes what you've learned, strengthening important pathways. Neuroplasticity, the brain's adaptability. This ability of the brain to reorganize itself is called neuroplasticity. It occurs in three main ways. Early in life, as the immature brain organizes itself. After injury, to compensate for lost functions or maximize remaining ones. Throughout adulthood, whenever we learn or memorize something new. So, no matter your age, your brain is always capable of growth and adaptation. Learning and behavior change. Now, let's move from the brain to behavior. Learning can be defined as the process that leads to relatively permanent changes in behavior, or at least the potential for change. As we learn, we alter how we perceive the environment, adjust how we interpret new information, and modify how we interact with others. In short, learning shapes behavior. Positive behavior for learning. This is where positive learning habits come into play. Developing positive behaviors, such as staying engaged in class, collaborating with peers, and managing your time well, helps you make good academic progress, maintain strong relationships with teachers and peers, and transition smoothly into college, employment, and adult life. Remember, learning is not just about grades, it's about equipping yourself with skills and behaviors that prepare you for lifelong success. So, to summarize, learning changes both your brain and your behavior. Emotional maturity supports effective learning. Neuroplasticity shows that your brain can adapt at any age. Positive behaviors lay the foundation for long-term growth. As students, and as lifelong learners, the more you understand how your brain and behavior work together, the better equipped you'll be to become not just a successful student, but a well-rounded, resilient individual. How does James Prochaska contribute to learning? When we think about learning, we often picture books, lectures, or exams. But true learning is not just about information, it's about changing our behavior. Professor of Psychology and Director of the Cancer Prevention Research Center at the University of Rhode Island, internationally recognized as the developer of the stage model of behavior change, has led research projects with over $80 million in grants focused on preventing cancer and chronic diseases. Founder of Pro-Change Behavior Systems, applying psychology to improve health and well-being globally. His Transtheoretical model of behavior change, developed in the early 1980s, explains how people successfully make and sustain changes in their lives. Why does this matter for students? Because every time you try to study more consistently, reduce procrastination, or build healthier routines, you're going through the same stages of change that Prochaska described. In other words, his model gives us a roadmap for self-improvement and learning, the 5 stages of change. Prochaska discovered that people who succeed in making positive changes don't do it all at once. Instead, they move through 5 stages of change. 1. Pre-contemplation. At this stage, individuals have no immediate intention to change. They may be unaware of their problem, or even in denial. Example: a student constantly procrastinates but insists, "I work best under pressure." 2. Contemplation. Now the individual becomes aware of the problem and starts thinking about change, but hasn't committed yet. Example: a student realizes late-night gaming hurts their grades, but isn't ready to give it up. 3. Preparation. This is the planning stage, where individuals gather information and set goals. Example: a student creates a study schedule or sets up a quiet space to work. Prochaska emphasizes that skipping this stage often leads to relapse. In fact, half of those who skip preparation revert to old habits within 21 days. 4. Action. Here, individuals take concrete steps to change their behavior. Example: the student actually follows their new study plan, limits distractions, and starts reviewing material daily. 5. Maintenance. Finally, individuals work to sustain their progress and prevent relapse. Example: the student sticks to their routine even during stressful exam weeks, making their study habits long-term. Why this matters for students. Prochaska's model shows that learning is more than memorizing. It's changing how we behave and think. Every positive academic habit, whether it's time management, note-taking, or reducing procrastination, follows these stages. Recognizing what stage you're in helps you choose the right strategy. For instance, if you're in contemplation, you might need motivation and reflection. If you're in action, you need persistence and support. If you're in maintenance, you need strategies to avoid slipping back. Conclusion. James O. Prochaska's contribution reminds us that learning is a process of change. It's not instant, it's step by step. By applying the stages of change to our own lives, we can not only improve our study habits, but also build the resilience and discipline that will serve us well beyond the classroom. So I leave you with this question. What stage of change are you currently in for a habit you want to improve as a learner? In today's session, we've seen that learning is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about transformation. We began by looking at what it means to be a better student, emphasizing that success requires emotional maturity, self-motivation, and healthy learning habits. We then explored how learning changes both the brain and behavior, showing that every new skill literally reorganizes how we think, perceive, and act. Through the concept of neuroplasticity, we discovered that the brain is not fixed. It is adaptable, capable of growth at any stage of life, and constantly reshaping itself as we challenge it. Finally, we connected these ideas to James O. Prochaska's Stages of Change, a powerful model reminding us that lasting growth happens gradually through preparation, action, and persistence. So, the key takeaway is this: to learn is to change. Change in knowledge, change in the brain, change in behavior, and change in who we are becoming. As you reflect on today's topics, ask yourself, where am I in my own journey of learning and change? And what small step can I take today to move forward? If you find this video lecture helpful, please hit subscribe.